Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 3.6 Notes and Day 1. Today we are continuing our discussion on application of linear equations. Our learning target today is to be able to solve slope-intercept equations in order to solve real-world problems. Now, if you've had difficulty with the word problems, make sure that you've already watched Day 1 and Day 2. And if you still need help after that, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Okay, so number 1. Paul has a job that pays a base salary plus commission. When he sells 4 cars, he makes a total of $900. When he sells 7 cars, he makes a total of $1,350. Okay? Now, the first thing I notice is we've got these two sentences, and within those two sentences, each one of those they talk about money and they talk about cars. Okay? So before we talked about when you have two numbers in the same sentence, it's a point. Well, so that must mean that we've got 2 points here. All right, so before we get started, we need to know what's our x and what's our y's. So the x, we're talking about the number of cars that he sells, okay? And y would be the money. Now, since we've got 2 points in here, I want to know what they are, okay? So our first one is for 900, and then our second one would be 7, 1350. Okay? Now, it asks me to write a slope-intercept equation, but I only have 2 points. So what that means is first we have to find the slope, the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then after we find the slope, we get to plug that into our point slope. Okay? Y minus your y equals slope times x minus your x. Okay? So, step 1, find the slope. What goes on the top? Yeah, 1350 minus 900 over 7 minus 4. Make sure you're using the right numbers. Well, 7 minus 4, that's easy. That's 3. What's 1350 minus 900? Did you use your calculator? I did. Okay. And then the last thing is we have to reduce that. We have to simplify it. And we get the slope equals 150. Okay? So now we've done that first part, we can plug into point slope. Now, the slope goes right there, 150. But now we could use either point. I like using the one with the smaller numbers. Okay? So if I'm using the smaller numbers, that means the 900 goes there, and then the 4 goes there. All right, and you guys were really good at solving this, okay? On the right-hand side, we need to distribute. So we get 150x, and then we have to do 150 times 4. Okay, I got 600. All right, and to solve, got to get the y by itself. Those cancel, and then we get y equals 150x plus 300. Okay, so what does the y represent in terms of the situation? Okay, so the y-intercept, that would be the 300. Okay, so I like writing the point 0, 300. So the $300 represents, well, what's the problem talking about? Well, it says that Paul makes a base commission, or he makes commission plus a base salary, right? So what that means is the $300 is his salary if he doesn't sell any cars. And I think they call that his base salary. Let's just go back up and look. Yep, base salary. Okay? Because in a car dealership, they're not going to give you tons of money for selling no cars. That's your incentive. You have to sell the cars. Okay? All right, question 3. It says in 2001, oh, hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. We're at problem number 2. All right, so Matthew collects comic books. He had 315 comic books in 2005. In 2009, he had 507 comic books. Note, let X represent the year 2000. So you're going to see that a lot because we want to use smaller numbers. So once again, we notice that we've got 2 sentences with 2 numbers. So we're going to have 2 points again. All right, so let X represent the year 2000. So right away that I know that X is years because it tells us that. And Y is our comic books. Okay, so as I'm getting ready to write my points, they're going to say let X equals 0 represent the year 2000. So if I'm looking at this, 2000 would be 0. I mean 2001 we would write 1. 2002 we would write 2. For 2005 we would say that that is the number 5, 315. Okay, for 2009 it would be 9 and 507. Okay, now if you notice in that sentence they mixed up the order. Okay, one they put the Y and then the X, and here they put the X and then the Y. So just make sure you know what is your X and what is your Y. Okay, so write a slope-intercept equation to represent the problem. All right, let's find the slope. So we got 507 minus 315 over 9 minus 5. 9 minus 5 is the easy one. That's 4. What's 507 minus 315? I got 192. Okay. And then divide that by 4. We get our slope equals 48. Okay, and I want you guys to put it into point slope. So go ahead and pause the video. Remember, you can use any point you want to. Just know that your slope is 48. Okay, good luck. Okay, and you should have gotten a y equals 48x plus 75. All right. C, what does the y-intercept represent in terms of this situation? So our y-intercept, which was 0, 75. So remember that y is talking about the comic books. So what that means is the y-intercept, it represents the number of what? Yeah, the number of comic books he started with. And that would be 75 books. Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on to problem number 3. It says in 2001, Paige's car was worth $3,500. In 2004, it was worth $1,822. Or $20, sorry. Let X represent the year 2000. So this is the same thing as in our last one, where 2000 equals 0. 2001 would be 1. Okay? So we have to identify the units for each variable. Well, once again, they just told us that X equals the years. So Y would represent the cost of the car, or the worth of the car. Because you guys know that as soon as you buy a car that it starts losing value, it depreciates. Okay? So write a slope-intercept equation to represent the problem. All right, so the first thing we need are our 2 points. Okay? There's 1, there's 2. Okay? So our first one is 2001, which means we're using the number 1, and then 3,500. And then our other point, we're using 4, 1820. Okay? So step 1, we need to find the slope. Step 2, we need to plug into y equals our point slope. Almost did the wrong thing. Okay? All right, let's do it. So we have 1820 minus 350, and then 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then we have 1820 minus 350. What'd you guys get? It's a negative number. Okay, I got negative 1,680. And when you divide that by 3, we get our slope is negative 560. Okay? And then pick a point. It doesn't matter which one you do. Okay. Go ahead and solve. Pause the video. Good luck. Okay, and you should have gotten y equals negative 560x plus 4,600. All right, so what year was the car worth $700? So right here, they're telling us something, that this is what the car is worth. That is our y. What year? That's our x. We don't know what the x is. So for this one, when we plug in, I know the 700. And now we're going to solve for x. Okay? So to solve for x, the first thing that we have to do is subtract the 4,600. Okay, and when you do that, you should get negative 3,360 equals negative 560x. And we're not done yet because the x isn't by itself. So divide that by 560 and we get 6. It's not going to be a negative 6 because it's a negative divided by a negative. You have to be careful about that. So the year 6, did they have cars in the year 6? Now, remember that x equals 2,000, so it's 2,000 plus 6. So it would be the year, yeah, the year 2006. That makes a lot more sense. Okay? All right, and the last one, find out the value of the car. So the value, that's going to be our y in the year 2002. So that's 2002, that means that x would equal 2. Okay? So you're plugging in 2 to our equation. right, go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. You get to watch me do the work. Okay, and just remember that we need to label that we're talking about money. Okay? All right, guys, well, that's it. Now, if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra Unit 3.6 Notes, Day 3. Thanks for watching.